Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. Jacob, my soon-to-be ex-husband, and I've been together for the past 4 years. We've been married for 2 years and have been trying for a baby for a very long time. Unfortunately, we haven't been very lucky in that department because I've had to face a lot of fertility issues. We started trying around 6 months into our marriage, and when even after a year we were not able to conceive, we decided to take this to the doctors. We got ourselves tested, and I was the one who seemed to be facing issues due to some pre-existing medical conditions. Basically my endometriosis. After that, I did everything that the doctors asked me. I changed my lifestyle completely. I even started working less to reduce stress, and there were a lot of supplements and pills that I had to take religiously, all of which I did. When that did not work, we decided to opt for IVF. But after 2 failed rounds, I thought that maybe we should give it a rest and try again later. That was almost 4 months ago, but things had been going downhill for a very long time. In the beginning, Jacob was quite understanding about everything. He was very supportive, and I felt less guilty about everything that was going on. But as time went on, he started becoming impatient, and I could tell that he was beginning to resent me. So naturally, I started feeling guilty because I felt like this was all my fault, even though it really wasn't. I was just dealt some cards that were not in my control, and it turned out not to be in my favor. That's it. But the way he used to behave constantly made me feel like I was responsible for all his misery. I had to walk on eggshells around him, and it was just really bad. We started fighting a lot more over petty things, and we had some pretty big fights about the whole situation with the baby. He did not want to go for surrogacy or adoption, and he wanted to keep trying IVF, but I was just exhausted. And when I decided to take a break for a while, he was more upset than ever. He did not seem to understand that I was physically and emotionally exhausted, and we just kept fighting until he decided to file for a divorce. There was a point in time about a month ago when we had a big fight, and after that, we pretty much stopped talking. For 2 weeks, we did not speak to each other. And then on the day of our marriage anniversary, he decided to drop a bomb on me by handing me divorce papers. We had been sleeping in separate beds by then. We were almost strangers living in the same house. So, honestly, I did not think it was shocking, and I just quietly accepted it, because I knew that there was nothing that I could do to save my marriage at that point in time. It had fallen apart, and I gave up on him because honestly I was quite tired as well of constantly fighting, either fighting against him or fighting for our marriage. I was just drained by everything. So I decided to go through with the divorce. I agreed to everything, and currently we are in the process of separating. He left the house just a few days after he served me with the divorce papers, and we haven't had any contact without our lawyers. It's been tough on me, but I've been dealing with it somehow. However, things kind of changed recently because I found out that I was actually pregnant. The last time that we had tried was almost 3 months ago, and I guess back then I conceived successfully somehow. It was a miracle, truly. But I did not find out about it until a couple of days ago, when I started feeling really nauseated in the morning, and I decided to take a pregnancy test even though I was kind of skeptical about the whole thing. As it turns out though, I am pregnant, and the last 2 cycles that I had missed were because of the pregnancy, and not my condition. I didn't think too much about it honestly because skipping or missing cycles was not that unusual for me. But the nausea is what tipped me off, and honestly I had mixed feelings about it. But whatever the situation was between the 2 of us, I decided that I had to do the right thing and reach out to Jacob to tell him about the pregnancy. I knew that I was not going to go back to him, but I thought that at least he had the right to know about the baby, because he had an equal right as a father. Now, whether he wanted to be a part of the baby's life or not was up to him. And with that intention, I reached out to him. I knew for the fact that I was going to go through with a pregnancy, regardless of the fact that I was going through a divorce at the same time, because this was not about him and me. This was about what I really wanted, and I knew that I wanted a baby. I had always wanted it, and I was happy that I was finally getting it. But I really didn't think that he was going to try and come back into my life after finding out about the pregnancy. Unfortunately, That's exactly what's happening right now. And I feel like my life has turned into a bit of a nightmare. It was pretty bad for a while, and I had been going through it with great difficulty. But right now, it's become downright intolerable, and I don't know what to do anymore. Because one thing is for sure, I just really do not want to get back together with him. Ever since he found out about the pregnancy, he's been insisting that we need to get back together and sort out our differences instead of letting our marriage go. I don't understand where that's coming from, since he's the one who actually initiated the divorce in the first place. And more importantly, I don't want to get back together with him because I think he really showed me his true colors by initiating the divorce. It was extremely hurtful because he knew that it was not easy for me either. He knew that I was hurting because we were not able to start a family, and I thought that it was my fault. But instead of comforting me and being there for me like a real husband, he abandoned me. He decided to get up and leave when the going got tough. And in spite of that, he expects me to somehow agree to start a family with him and stay with him. I'm not crazy. There is no way that's happening. The fact that I'm willing to have shared custody of my child with him is a big enough deal for me. I can't do any more for him, and I think that I'm being perfectly reasonable with this by not wanting to get back together with him. But everyone else thinks that I'm making a huge mistake and that I should take up this opportunity and cancel the divorce proceedings to patch up the marriage, including my own parents. Of course, his parents feel the same way. His family has spoken to me about it quite a couple of times by now. They've been calling and texting, and even my own family has been telling me to reconsider what I'm about to do. They have been telling me that it's bad enough what he did, but I don't have to treat him the same way, and I can forgive his mistake and move on so we can have a happy life together in the future, and we can treat this whole episode as a joke once we've decided to patch things up. I don't understand why they're giving me this kind of advice, because I really don't think that it's fair to me. They don't know what I've been through in the past couple of weeks, ever since the divorce was initiated. It's been horrible for me, and on top of that, ever since I found out about the pregnancy, it has complicated everything tenfold. So things are already pretty bad for me, and this is making my decision even more difficult, to the point where I'm really doubting myself. Like I said, my life has become really nightmarish now, and I can't deal with this anymore. I really need some advice on what to do, and how to go about this. Am I an idiot for not wanting to patch things up with my husband after he initiated a divorce because I was facing fertility issues, and now that I'm pregnant, he wants to get back together? Update 1. Hi, thanks so much for all the support. I really love the fact that people who are strangers to me have all gathered together in the comments to be supportive and let me know that I'm doing the right thing. Honestly, I started doubting myself the second my parents told me that I was doing the wrong thing by leaving him. But now I don't have any doubts in my heart anymore. I'm sure what I want to do, and I'm sure that I don't want to be with him. I've spoken to my friends about it, but I hadn't done that so far because I wanted to keep it private. I thought that all of this was really personal, and they already knew that I was going through a divorce. They knew what was the reason behind the divorce, and I didn't want to be a burden to any of them by constantly talking about my life's problems. But eventually, I decided to talk to them about it, because it was clear that I couldn't speak to my parents about it now. They would only try and insist that I patch things up with them. So I spoke to my friends, and they said that I was doing what was good for me, and there was nothing wrong with that. I had the right idea about him. And even if I did get back together with him, it was unlikely that we would ever be happy again if I did it unwillingly. And even if I did get back together with him, we might end up in a situation where all three of us are unhappy, including the child. They do have a point because I'm really not inclined to get back together with him. And it's not because I don't love him anymore or whatever. That's very complicated, and I don't even want to get into that. But more importantly, it's just about how disrespected I felt. I don't think I'll ever be able to forget how he made me feel for the past couple of months. And the fact that he has made me feel guilty for something that was really not my fault instead of being supportive. I just don't know how I can forgive that. Besides, I'm not even sure if he wants to get back with me because he loves me and wants to actually make it work, or if he's just doing it out of a sense of obligation. Because I'm pregnant. If it's the latter, then I'm really not interested. I'm a self-made woman. I can support myself, and even if he decides that he's not going to contribute to the baby's life in any way, I'm fine with that as well. I will raise the baby alone, But I don't want her to think that he needs to get back together with me and fix our marriage only because of the baby. Right now, that's what it seems like, because all of our conversations in the past couple of days have been about my pregnancy and nothing else. And he's only been insisting that we get back together because of the baby. He's not said that he wants to get back with me because of me and what we shared at any point of time. So, of course, I have my doubts. In the past conversations that we've had, he told me that he wants to get back with me because he wants to work on our marriage, and he does not want to let it go because that might affect the upbringing of the baby, and he does not want either of us to regret what we are doing. I mean, come on. That doesn't sound like he's too keen on getting back with me. But it sounds like he's treating this as a responsibility or a duty towards his baby, rather than something he really wants to do. So, why would I want to be a part of a marriage like that? It's only going to be a sham, and it's only going to make the baby unhappy as he or she grows up. And this is what I've been trying to explain to my parents as well, but I don't think they get it, because the past couple of interactions have been really unpleasant for all of us. They've only been fighting with me over this, and they just don't understand my point, let alone my parents. Not even my siblings understand me right now, and I feel totally alone in this, something that I hadn't felt before. Of course, I do have my friends by my side, but it's a different thing when it comes to my family, because I've always been very attached to them. And I think this is the first time that we have had such a major disagreement. I can understand that my parents are unable to understand my point of view right now, because they're probably from an older generation that believed in compromising more. But what I don't understand is my siblings not getting my point. I mean, we're from the same generation, and they should be able to understand why I'm not willing to compromise my pride. Because that's what this is all about. I'm not going to go running back to a man who abandoned me, and they can put it however they want to. But that's the crux of the matter. He did abandon me. There's no two ways about it. And I don't understand why I'm expected to forgive him just like that, even when he's shown me that he's not that keen on asking for my forgiveness. In fact, now that I think about it, he's never even apologized to me for any of this until now. So how am I supposed to forgive someone who's not even sorry? Anyway, all that is besides the point. I have already made up my mind, and I know that I'm not going back to him anymore. My family can say whatever they want to, and it doesn't make a difference to me anymore. If I'm okay with raising my child alone without any help from anyone, I think I'm okay with being alone in general as well. If my family does not want to accept me or my decision, then I have nothing to say to them. I have my friends, I have myself, and I have my job, and I'll do just fine by myself. And even if Jacob decides that he doesn't want anything to do with me or the baby, like I said in the beginning, I'm fine with that too. But I'm not changing my mind for anyone. I'm not going to be stepped on and let it all go. I know that it's going to be very difficult, but there's nothing to be done about it. I guess this is the cost of living my life on my own terms, and I'm going to have to be fine with it. I don't know what the future holds. I don't even know how my family is going to react to all of this. So far, it's been against me, so maybe they'll continue in that vein. But whatever it is, I'm going to have to stay strong, and I'm going to try and make the best of my situation. Thank you so much to everybody who commented and was supportive of me. Thanks a lot. Update 2. Hi, it's been a month since I found out that I was pregnant, and like I said, things have been quite difficult for me. I had already anticipated that my decision was not going to be well received by anyone, and that's exactly what's happened. It's not a shock to me, but it's still quite disheartening. Anyway, in my last update, it was evident that my parents were not happy about what I was contemplating. Neither was Jacob happy about what I was planning, but even then, they were giving me some space and time to think about what I wanted. And even though they were arguing with me, trying to influence and change my decision, I knew what I wanted to do. So it took me a couple of days. But eventually, I told him that there was no point in trying to insist on one thing and trying to get me to change my mind or anything, because it was not going to work. I had already decided what I wanted to do, and I wanted to go through with the divorce. I did not want to get back with Jacob, and that was my final decision. When I said that to Jacob, of course, he flew off the handle. We were on a phone call at the time, and he started screaming at me, saying that I had no right to do this to him. He told me that I was ruining his life and that I was breaking this family apart. And that was the first time that he was speaking with any sort of emotion in his voice in all the conversations that we've had in the past couple of weeks. Until recently, he would only speak to me very indifferently, as if he were doing me a favor by talking to me and trying to sort things out with me. But this time, I could tell that he was being emotional, just not in the way that I wanted. And I was also really shocked that he was blaming me for all of this, saying that I was the one breaking this family apart when he was the one who had initiated the divorce in the first place. I don't remember wanting to separate from him. And even when things were really bad between us, I knew that I was trying my best to keep things together, but he was the one who decided that he wanted to leave. So, how am I the one to blame for any of this? I brought it up with him, and he told me that it was not fair for me to bring that up, because he was going through a lot of stress at the time, and it was partly my fault as well, because I had just given up on the relationship, instead of trying to fight for it when he handed me the divorce papers. I mean, that's literally insane, because he was really trying to gaslight me into believing that I was somehow the one who was responsible for all of this. And it got pretty ugly. He told me that I need to take accountability for my decisions, and I couldn't pretend that I was completely blameless in any of this. The fight got pretty intense, and in the end, I hung up, and after that, I literally ended up crying for a good half an hour, because I was so upset. I knew for a fact that he had no right to say any of that to me, and he had absolutely no right to pretend as if any of this was my fault. This was all on him. I was not the one ruining his life. He was the one who had ruined his own life. The only part that I was happy about was, at least on the phone call, I got to tell him that I was not the kind of woman who was going to go running after him. Even after he had disrespected me to this extent, and if he actually expected that from me, he was seriously mistaken. That was the last thing that I had said to him before hanging up. And after that, we didn't speak. Until now, we haven't spoken. So now I don't know what to expect after this. Now, coming to my parents, that reaction was exactly what I had already expected. But thankfully with them, I didn't need to fight or anything. They didn't pick a fight with me. They just told me that they were very disappointed in my actions and that they were going to try and be there for me. But they just needed some time to process what was happening. It's strange that they needed some time to process things when I'm the one who's actually going through all of it. But anyway, I told them that they could take as much time as they wanted to. But I was not going to change my mind. I also explained to them my reasons, but I didn't know if there was going to be any point in doing so because, honestly, I think they've also made up their minds about their opinion on this. They don't want to accept my decision. That's completely fine with me. Like I had said in my previous update, I don't need to please everyone in order to live the way I want to. My parents are not speaking to me right now, and my siblings had a much more gentle reaction. But even they are not talking to me at the moment. Both of them are older than me. My sister is 4 years older, and my brother is 7 years older. They're both married and have their own families, and things have been good with them so far. But I guess this is where we hit a snag in our relationship. Unlike my parents, they did not tell me that they need some time to process things. They just told me that they don't approve of what I'm doing, and they don't think they're ever going to understand my motives for any of this. But at the end of the day, it's my life, and I get to choose how to live it. So they can only give me advice. But whether I want to take it or not, that's on me. They wished me luck with whatever I'm about to do, but there was nothing else that they had to say about any of this. Anyway, since then, since I made it clear to everyone that I was not going to change my mind, everyone sort of kept their distance from me. And, well, I saw this coming, so I'm not too surprised. Of course, I am a bit upset about it, but I'm fine all over. And in fact, I'm very excited for this new chapter of my life because I'm finally going to be a mother now. That's something that I had wanted for so long. And even though it's not happening exactly the way I thought it would, I'm just glad that it's happening. I've been going to the doctor and everything on my own. It's kind of stressful, but things have been going well, and I'm very excited. And I just hope that everything continues to go well in the future as well. And I have a healthy and safe pregnancy and a happy baby soon. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I hope that everything goes well. Now, update 3. So, it's been a couple of weeks since my last update, and in a few days I think the divorce will come through. It was uncontested, and I agreed to all the terms of the petition as well, because they were fair enough. So, there was nothing more to it. But now we have a new problem to deal with: the custody arrangement. That is something that we are going to have to negotiate because he thinks that he deserves to have the baby with him for half of the month, and I for the other half. But I don't think that's going to work because a newborn baby needs a lot of time with the mother. It's just practical for the baby to have more time with me. So that's something that we're going to have to sort out. But I'm just glad that he's not insisting that we need to get back together anymore. He's been polite and cordial through the whole thing, and I think that we can put our ugly fight in the past now, because from now on, we're going to have to make our peace with each other so that we can co-parent our child peacefully in the future. He's also been joining me for some visits to the doctor, and he's trying to be helpful, but he still hasn't apologized for anything. I guess it's going to take him some time, but I'm sure that he will, because he knows that we're going to have to maintain some semblance of harmony at least, to make sure that everything goes well once the baby is born. Regarding my family, my siblings are trying to talk to me, and my parents have also started texting me more frequently than before. They're not completely icing me out, but I'm taking my time now. I only respond to them when I'm feeling receptive. Apart from that, I don't think that I need to be too bothered about them. Right now, the only thing that I'm focused on is staying well myself, my emotional well-being, my physical well-being. That's all that matters to me right now. And to ensure that I am fine, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Update 4. Hey everyone, I know that I've been MIA for quite some time now, but I think it's finally time that I post this update. So, a couple of weeks ago, I finally gave birth to a healthy baby girl, and I couldn't have been happier. My family and Jacob were all there for the birth of the baby, and I think in the past couple of months, we have all been able to sort out our differences. I think more than anything else, it's been the baby that has brought us all together. We still haven't decided on a name, but we have decided on the custody arrangement, and that's what we're going to stick to. My daughter is going to stay with me full time, and when she's a little bit older, we can renegotiate the custody arrangement. But until then, she's staying with me, and my ex-husband is free to come and go as he pleases. Our divorce was finalized a couple of days after my last update, and a few weeks after that, we finalized the custody arrangement with our lawyers. He has also apologized for everything. It wasn't easy for him, I guess. But a couple of days back, he finally did it. I forgave him, but that's it. We don't have anything else to do with each other apart from co-parenting. We just have a cordial relationship as exes. That's it. He's obviously going to be paying child support, at least until he can have a good time with our daughter, and then since we have similar income, that's not going to be required. And since all that's sorted out, I think everything is in place now. With my family too, I think my parents have gradually come to terms with my decision, and they have apologized to me for everything as well. To be honest, these apologies don't really mean a lot to me, because the damage is already done, and that's never going to be undone. But at least they're trying, and I appreciate that. So that's why I'm trying to put our differences aside. On top of that, now that the baby is here, I think I'm going to need all the help and support that I can get. So I'm grateful for that. I'm happy that things worked out for me. Not the way that I thought that it would, but at least I'm happy now, and that's all that matters. Not an idiot. He served OP divorce papers on the anniversary because OP's body wasn't performing on his timeline. Then suddenly wants to play happy family the moment OP is pregnant. That's not love. That's him chasing the baby he wanted and treating OP like the incubator. Co-parenting is plenty. OP needs to keep it legal, keep it structured, and not let anyone guilt her into returning to a man who bailed when life got hard. And now let's hear community's opinion. Not an idiot, and your family is being wildly unfair. They're basically saying, he abandoned you, but you should be the bigger person. No, being the bigger person doesn't mean handing someone access to you again, after they proved they'll punish you when you struggle. He can be a father without being your husband. If he wanted a marriage, he shouldn't have thrown it away the minute it stopped being convenient. Soft, everyone sucks here for one thing only. Stop entertaining the getting back together conversation. You did the right thing telling him about the pregnancy, but now everything should go through lawyers and a parenting plan. He already showed you how he handles stress, resentment, pressure, blame, and divorce papers. Imagine how he'll act during sleepless nights, postpartum recovery, and newborn chaos. Protect your peace and your baby. Not an idiot, and please document everything. The way he flipped the script and tried to blame you for breaking the family apart. after he filed is classic manipulation. Your custody plan should reflect reality. Newborns need stability, and he doesn't get to demand half the month like you're splitting a timeshare. Keep communication in writing, set boundaries, and let him prove consistency as a co-parent before he gets extra access.